everybody was kind of scrambling to take care of their own destiny. Most people were trying to get into military programs that would let them stay at Ohio State until they graduated, which is what I did.
Tell me about that. What kind of program was that?
Well, the Navy V7 program was a program that let you stay in school for a year or two until you graduated. Then you were committed to military service and officer training. When I graduated, I was assigned to Columbia University. I went there in training for line officers.
Now, what year was that? What year was that you went to Columbia?
I went in April of 1943.
April of 43 you went to Columbia. How long were you there?
I was at Columbia 2 or 3 months when the Navy worked out a one-year program with Harvard University to send officers to supply school there to become supply officers and also get 1 year of their master's from the Harvard Graduate School of Business Administration.
Now, but didn't you actually stay with a women's part or something? Wasn't there?
Well, after Harvard, there was additional schooling in Navy supply at Wellesley. I was there for about 2 months and actually lived in one of the women's dorms. There were women living in the other dorms at the time, but not in classes with us.
Okay, I'd like to talk about another thing. Ohio State, you saw the famous game with the blizzard. Why don't you tell me about that? What year was that?
In 1950, the Ohio State-Michigan game was played in threatening weather. We knew when we left Dayton that the weather was not going to be good. It had started to snow. Joanne went downtown shopping. She did not care to sit out in the stadium in bad weather. I sat in the stadium right across there, just above the entrance to the Ohio State locker.
Where's that? Now point it out again.
Just right across here, the tunnel. Under that tower is the Ohio State locker room.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, go on.
During the entire game, it snowed. They tried to shovel the snow off the field. They swept the yard lines and the end lines and the sidelines as best they could, but they soon became obliterated. The game was played in a driving snowstorm so that you couldn't see what was going on at the other end of the field. Neither team scored a first down during the entire game. I believe there was minus yardage on both sides. Ohio State lost the game, in my estimation, when they didn't just stand in the huddle till time ran out and take a penalty and then have a free kick, or at least a kick after a timeout.
Was this at the end of the game we talked about?
This was in the last quarter, and the punt was blocked, and Michigan scored a touchdown on the blocked punt, and I believe the score was 9-6 or something like that.
Okay, now what about afterwards?
Well, after the game, I picked up my wife and we started for Dayton on Old Route 40. We got as far as the Old Trail Tavern in Lafayette. At that point, we were stopped because all traffic was stopped at that point. And we went in the Old Trail Tavern and had something to eat. It became obvious that no traffic was going to move that night. So we slept on the floor underneath one of the tables in the Old Trail Tavern. We got up the next morning, traffic was plowed out, and we made it that day as far as Springfield and stayed we're at my parents' home. My mother was taking care of the 3 children at that time. We finally got to Dayton on Monday, having left Saturday morning to see Ohio State play Michigan.
Okay, now the first game I remember watching Ohio State play was in 1958. Do you remember that game?
No, what something?
It was just the first game I ever went to. That's at Ohio State. And you took me afterwards into the locker room, and we met Ferguson, I think it was, that great big black guy. He was a fullback for him.
From Troy.
Yeah, and some of those guys, I think it was.
I think it was long about that same time when I took Phil after a game into the training room. I was able to do that because the trainer at that time was Ernie Biggs, who was the trainer of the track team when I was in school. Ernie died Ernie, when he was our trainer, was in medical school. He later graduated, became a doctor, the team trainer for the football team, and died of cancer at a very early age. The training facility is named after him.
What is this?
The football training facility on across the river and up on Old Tansy Drive.
Does the stadium look pretty much the same as you remember when you were here at Ohio State when you first started here, or is it different?
Oh, the only thing that's a great deal different is the press box up above us here. The press box in those days, it was built to its present size after the World War II. The top deck of the press box was open until last year, when the top deck was closed. I used to accompany the Dayton Daily News photographers over here when they were doing sequence camera pictures of the Ohio State football game that they no longer do. They would be up on the top deck there with nothing but a canvas lean-to protect them from the elements. It was sometimes pretty windy up there.